Darth Vader, you sent me this link here of this 13-year-old, right?
Hmm.
We're talking about this. This is a boy. This is a little boy, man.
Yeah.
Listen to this. And this is the ideology we're talking about. Talking about CRT, critical race theory. It's all connected. It's all part of the
Hip
whole.
hop music, all of it.
Yeah, it's all connected. It's one big happy family.
News 4 is uncovering new details tonight about the middle school student, just 13 years old, shot and killed this weekend while trying to carjack an off-duty federal security officer. Today, the child's middle school principal described Bernard Tony as smart, funny, and talented. But we also learned he is no stranger to police. This Saturday was not the first time he was accused of stealing cars. News 4's Darcy Spencer.
Apparently, he wasn't that smart.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, but
yeah.
if he's sitting there doing a carjacking and trying to hijack a federal security officer,
yeah,
not really that smart.
No, but the other question is, he's a little boy, right? I understand they're being very gracious here, but from the start of this news,
very gracious.
There is too much grace. Can we be honest?
Yeah,
this 13-year-old is a criminal.
Yeah,
okay, simple as that.
He's a career criminal.
Yeah, there is. That's just what it is. I have a 12-year-old. If my 12-year-old's acting up like that, I'll be smacking him across his head till he gets his act together. But the thing is, the way this is being presented is already problematic.
Yeah,
they're painting him as this innocent kid who just had a bad fallout, in a sense.
He just had a bad day. Like, no, this isn't just a bad day. This is lifelong decisions of bad decisions.
Wow.
Like, this doesn't just happen overnight.
The media plays with the mind, don't they? All right, let's keep going.
News 4's Darcy Spencer has the new developments.
It was here on D Street Northwest, outside an office building, that 13-year-old Bernard Tony Jr. was shot and killed when he allegedly tried to carjack an off-duty federal security officer. It was around 10 Saturday night. Police say the officer was sitting in his car waiting for a shift to start when two juveniles told him to get out. According to the report, one of the teens had his hand in his front waistband pocket as if he had a handgun. And as he was complying, the officer pulled a gun and shot Tony in the chest. A second juvenile ran away. The off-duty officer's gun was the only one recovered from the scene.
Guns, carjackings, 13-year-olds, recipe for tragedy.
Two sources familiar with the investigation confirmed that Tony was arrested last May for a carjacking and robbery spree. This map shows the area where he allegedly committed 9 crimes.
We have a problem here.
Look at that map and tell me that isn't a criminal record history. This is what he did. Armed carjacking, armed robbery, armed carjacking, armed carjacking, assault, armed robbery, armed carjacking. Like, this kid was headed down a path of destruction.
You know, the system failed him too. This kid should have been locked up and saved his life.
Yeah.
If he was behind bars, there's a possibility he could have been alive today.
Like,
so by releasing him over and over in the streets, knowing that he has these irreparable behaviors, he's got serious mental problem.
There was only one inevitable outcome.
Behaviors, right? There was only one outcome left because he's not being locked up.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The alternative outcome was denied him. So there's only living this lifestyle. There's only 2 options. We all know this. You either go to jail or you end up 6 feet under. Obviously, the going to jail option was taken off the table. So that only leaves one other option left.
Which reinforces the behaviors because if I can get away with this over and over again, why do I need to stop?
So that leaves only one other option left.
again,
for an outcome of this lifestyle.
This idea of critical race theory is gone in the wind with this narrative. This idea that Black people have experiencing serious depth level of racism, that's also gone because people who are really victims don't do stuff like this. That's not how they behave.
And this is in Washington, D.C. You're not allowed to own firearms unless you're in law enforcement in D.C.
Good point. Good point. Good observation. So I asked the question though, what is the condition of the home? Right? Where's the mommy? Where's daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Like probably a broken
Where did
home.
he get the firearm?
Where he get the firearm? He's only 13. Some guys, 13 years old, somebody.
And he got a firearm. Not allowed to buy a firearm at 13 years old.
You got 9 counts. On the first time this happened, this kid should have been addressed, dealt with by the system harshly in the hope to fix him up. This should have happened 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 times. Mm-hmm. That's a site that shows there's something broken in our system.
My guess, hear me out on this. My guess, the first one was assault. The second one was armed robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other third one was another armed robbery. And that's when he evolved into carjacking. Anthony, I think you're a little behind on the stream.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, you walk your way through. Your text message, but he's not even gonna be able to hear us now. But anyway, all right, let's finish this video because I got another one that shows something very similar.
In a 6-week period. News 4 reported he was 12 years old at the time. It's unclear what happened with those cases and why Tony was back on the street. In a one-on-one interview, Chief Pamela Smith told News 4 she wanted to be sensitive to the teen's parents and classmates.
He was known to the Metropolitan Police Department, and it's just unfortunate that this particular incident happened on Saturday night.
Tony was a 7th grader at Kelly Miller Middle School in Northeast D.C. We could see police presence at the school today. Counseling services were also being offered to students. The school principal sent a letter to parents saying Tony was a smart and talented student. He had a natural comedic ability and loved to make people laugh, especially when he would joke that he was the principal of Kelly Miller Middle.
Pause.
Bernard also loved to play.
They take this, him being the principal of the school, as a joke. I guarantee you he wasn't joking. He would go up in there and think he ran that place. You're on mute.
Yeah.
I think with his record and his attitude, he would walk up there and think he owned that place.
Yeah, he felt entitled.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the color of his skin. And they've been telling him he's a victim.
And they wanted to be sensitive to him. Like,
but can we be
there's an old saying.
Families?
There's an old saying. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Mm-hmm. That's Bible.
Okay. Yeah. This kid had no rod.
Nope. So he became a spoiled brat. And we can be sensitive to the child. We get that. He became entitled. But if we're going to prevent stuff like this to happen, you have to call it out.
Mm-hmm. And you got to call it out early.
Say it again.
You have to call it out early, and you got to deal with it harshly, because otherwise they will run rampant all over you.
Exactly.
You can't let this type of behavior slide.
Mm-mm.
Bernard also loved to play basketball and spend his free time on the court with his friends. D.C.'s crime crisis was the subject of a council committee meeting earlier in the day. Leaders.
Listen, I don't. These people. Who cares? That's not the point. He loves to play basketball. What is this?
Who cares?
What is this? A biography?
No, I don't think he liked to play basketball in his free time. I think he liked to jack cars in his free time and mug people. I think that's what he was doing in his free time.
Somebody might say that's just a side hustle. We're making light of this issue, but really the truth is it's a sad one.
I mean,
but the way the media is presenting this is
it's
the
a
problem
freaking joke.
That's what we are laughing at is the presentation. The presentation that is there's a polishness of his character. There is this embellished beautifying of this young man instead of talking about the real issues that led to this, right? Why is he back on the streets? It's unclear. What do you mean it's unclear? Maybe you should look for that. Find
They're
out.
Not looking at the core of the rot.
And none of the victims are addressed here.
Nope.
There's very little compassion shown to the people who's been robbed by this 13-year-old.
Nope. They briefly mentioned the person who did the shooting.
Yeah, and they moved on.
And
right?
moved
but
on.
The thing is,
imagine the toll that took on his mind shooting a kid.
Yeah. This is an appeal to be sympathetic to a 13-year-old who should have been behind bars, who probably has real issues in the home that needs help. He needed help. He was failed by the system. Now, all of a sudden, he's 6 feet under. You want the rest of the world to feel sorry. Now, the premise here, we ought to feel sorry for criminals. We have to feel sorry for anybody else. Yeah, we have to feel sorry for anybody else with these types of behaviors. Again, he's black. You understand? His ancestors were slaves, right? So all of that justifies his behavior. Right.
Exactly. My main chaos.
Will they be doing the same thing for a white kid? We've been talking about that.
That's what we're saying.
That's what this live stream is been all about today. Anyway, let's keep going.
His friends. DC's crime crisis was the subject of a council committee meeting earlier in the day. Leaders, community members, and victim families discussing violence reduction programs.
Everywhere I go, I hear people say that crime is the worst that they have seen, and it is driving our long-term residents out of the city.
According to DC crime stats, there have been 827 carjackings in the district so far this year. 74% of them involve guns, and most of those arrested are under 18.
And it's not all of our juveniles. And we believe that there's a small number of juveniles. I believe, and I want to believe, and I'll go publicly and say the majority of our young people here in the District of Columbia are amazing young people.
Doesn't matter. That's not the point.
You ever hear one bad apple spoils a whole bunch?
These people are ridiculous, man. So bad. Like, what kind of presentation is this?
Stop making excuses.
Like, we're not talking about all young people.
No.
You don't need a whole bunch.
No.
Just one or two in your city is enough to give you a bad look. Don't you know that?
Mm-hmm.
But again, 75% wear guns. So now, what's the notion? Gun is the problem.
Yep.
Not what motivated them.
Nope. And
not the fact they were left out in the streets over and over again.
Not to mention the fact that they're not supposed to have guns in the first place.
Yeah.
In DC.
So all these...
Where are they getting them?
Oh, yeah. All these laws against gun doesn't seem to be working for him.
Doesn't seem to be working against the criminals.
Not at all.
They don't seem to have a problem getting guns. So if they don't have a problem getting a gun, they don't seem to have a problem breaking other laws. What's the point in gun laws?
Yeah. All right. Let's go back to next video.
Other than disarming decent, law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.